All right, Shalom. First, I'm start by saying all praise to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Kodash, the bond to the elders and apostles that rule well, and salutations to the brothers that's doing the truth and sincerity. Now, this is a lesson on what's going on in Kenya. Salakia. Plug this phone up. Right, so this is a lesson on what's going on in Kenya. It says United Nations warns of Kenya disease outbreaks after devastating floods. So, we know them Kenyans are Hamites, which are so-called Africans. It might be some Israelites over there. But we know that the Lord is judging them because of what they did to the 12 tribes of Israel. Or what they did to, Israel in general, man. But, I'm going to bring out this scripture first, and then I'm going to play the video. This is Psalm chapter 83, verse 1. It says, "Keep not thou silence, O Yahweh Shema Shai, hold not thy peace." Right, and the Lord not keeping silent, because he's using us to prophesy about the downfall of these kingdoms and the slavery of these nations, including these Africans. Hold not thy peace, and this is one way that the Lord is not holding his peace. He sent the flood unto them, and they had now diseases are starting to break out. And they said when I was watching one of the videos that I think it was cholera had already been there before this flood came. So as I continue to read, I think it's in this one right here, this news article that is going to give out the names of certain diseases that break out. It says, "For lo, thine enemies," right, "make a tumult, and they hate thee have lifted up the head." Right, so we know that the enemies of the Yahweh Shema Shai is these nations that are outside of Israel. It says, "They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones." Right, that's why they be having these G8 summits, G20 summits, and using these think tanks, man. That's why we don't know who we are according to the Bible. Because of them taking using their crafty counsels, man. It says, "They have said, Come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance." Right, so we had our people thinking that we African Americans, Latin Americans, Native Americans, because of what these nations did. In particular, the Elias, when the Jews, 1948 British Mandate Palestine, when they flew the so-called Jews over there into that land, they took our nationality. They what else? Just to name a few. It says, "They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom," which is these white people. We know the white people brought us over here in slavery. "And the Ishmaelites had us in slavery. They sold us unto these Edomite devils. The Moabites, the Hagarenes, them Africans helped them Ishmaelites." So the Lord is judging these these Africans right here in this clip, man. Gabal and Ammon, Japanese, and Amalek, which is so-called Jews, the Philistines, more Africans, with the inhabitants of Tyre, which is more Africans. So you can see the Africans are on this list a couple of times, man, in these scriptures, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this video so we can see the judgment of these Africans, which are known as the Hamites according to the scriptures, man.
"It looks like a vast lake, yet this is the river Tana. It's consumed villages and lives."
Most of them are farmers. Oh yes, we have also pastoralists in this community. But again, as you can see, the farms have been all submerged.
We change course away from the river, going deep into the bush. The mango trees, full of fruit, are hardy. The birds make good out of most situations. But any illusion of normality is lost when you look through the clearings. What was a seasonal stream has turned into this. The forces of nature and a waterline that's still rising. On the shoreline ahead, people who have walked for hours from higher land. They've waited days for help to arrive. No cheers, no shouts, no pushing. But the need here is deep-seated. It's not everywhere in the world where you'd find people so calm in a situation like this when they've been marooned for several days with absolutely nothing coming in until now. But there are pockets of anger.
I have been here for 3 days waiting for this help. I haven't received anything. There is no way I can wait any longer. I need it now.
He has all the right to say that. But again, I can also help where I can. So as Kenya Red Cross, we've done what we can for now. And we are asking more people to come and help us so that we can reach more people.
And even some of those getting their rations of food and enough aid to give them basic shelter feel it's not enough. This mother of 8 is setting out on a 2-hour walk back to where she's living rough. Her home has been lost along with her livestock.
I'm scared about my children. They're hungry, they're exposed to the rains, and because of that, we're likely to fall sick.
For those left behind, you can see it from their expressions. They need help now, along with so many others in even more remote places than this.
Right, man. So, that's just a small look at what's going on over there, man. That's what they get, man. There's famines and people starving over there also. They won't mention that in the clip. Only thing they mention is that they brought them food and everything. But, you got kids that haven't ate. Like she said, you got kids that are hungry. You got kids that probably died from not being able to eat, even though it only took about 3 days before them to get over there and stuff. So, but, all right, this is the article. It says, United Nations warns of Kenya disease outbreaks after devastating floods. It says, warning of disease outbreaks as aid workers struggle to reach thousands in need of shelter after weeks of heavy rains. Right, so there's thousands of them that's going through this, man, and it's just like a small bunch of them that they're reaching at this point in time, man. So there's lots of death going on over there. The pestilence already broke out over there, man. It said the United Nations have warned of disease outbreaks following devastating flooding in Kenya as aid workers struggle to reach thousands of people in need of shelter after weeks of torrential rains. It says more than 100 people have been killed and over 250,000 have been forced from their homes by heavy rains. By heavy rainfall since March, the majority of which hit Tuna River, Kilifi, and Mandera counties. So they had weeks of rain. So that means it probably been weeks of flooding. It says the major humanitarian concern beyond the displacement is disease outbreaks, particularly cholera and chikungunya, a mosquito-borne disease, gens Lerke. I don't know how to say that. The spokesman for the United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs told reporters in Geneva on Friday. He said there had been almost nearly 3,000 cholera cases, including 55 deaths by the end of April in Kenya, which had suffered from 3 failed rainy seasons. It says Lerke also warned that flooding would exacerbate cholera outbreaks and increase the risk of vector-borne diseases, which also include malaria and Dunju fever. It says consume villages and lives. It says the Red Cross appealed on Friday for $5 million to fund its emergency operations and help those affected by flooding, which has washed away bridges and homes. Since early March, 112 people have lost their lives countrywide. Abbas Goulet, Secretary General of the Red Cross, said on Friday, adding that some 20,000 animals had been washed away, right? So there's the food. About 48,177 households have been displaced so far, and this translates to 260,200 people Goulet added. So it's a lot of them that's going through hell right now, man. That's why the scripture said many great miseries shall be done unto them, man, because it's more than 100 people that didn't die. It's more than the numbers that they giving us on how many got diseases. You know, and there might be way more of people that are being affected by this flood, man. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 8 verse 50. It said, "For many great miseries shall be done to them that in the later time shall dwell in the world." Right, that's the misery they go through, that flooding, not having food, and then to get, to watch your kids die and shit like that, man. It says, "For many great miseries shall be done to them that in the later time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride." Right, and this world is walking in great pride. You got all types of wickedness, witchcraft. I guarantee you there's lots of witchcraft going on down in Kenya. You know, sacrifices and stuff of that nature, man. But that's what they get, man. That's what they get, man. This is all happening because of what they did to the 12 tribes of Israel. But it says, it said Al Jazeera's Andrew Simmons reporting from the river Tana said the flooding had consumed villages and lives. Further along on a remote shoreline in Huani, scores of marooned people waited for days for help to arrive. They had any kids, any babies that was in need of emergency, anything at the, when they finally made it to land or anything, they died. It says the need for help is urgent, said Simmons, who traveled to the area with one of the relief teams delivering food rations and enough aid to provide basic shelter. "I have been here for 3 days waiting for this help." Ibrahim Umar Elma, a displaced farmer, told Al Jazeera, "I haven't received anything. There is no way I can wait any longer." And that's how fights start out. That's how riots start out. That's how killings start out, but they won't mention that. You got to extrapolate. That's what studying, gets you, being in the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai, It says, "I need it now." Hassan Musa of the Kenyan Red Cross said people such as Elma have all the right to complain, but we can only help where we can. We are asking more people to come and help us so we can reach more people, he added. So y'all got $5 million, but not enough help. It says Safini Hassan Nurai is a mother of 8 who lost her home and all her livestock to flooding. "I am scared about my children," she told Al Jazeera. "They're hungry. They're exposed to the rains, and because of that, we're likely to fall sick." So, what's happening to them is happening. It's because it's biblical prophecy. So I'm gonna read this 2nd Ezra chapter 9 verse 1. He said, "And he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made." And this is part of the Lord visiting this place. "Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning." Right, so, this is prophecy, man. This is one of the signs that the Lord was talking about, man. The Lord said it was going to be floodings around this place, man. The Lord said it was going to be deaths around this place, man. This Ecclesiasticus chapter 39 verse 28. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. Fire and hail and famine. We know they're going through famine over there. And death. And you know there's a lot of people dying over there. All these were created for vengeance. Teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents, and the sword, punishing the wicked to destruction. Right. So the Lord said they walked in great pride. They are considered the wicked. They're getting punished. Also, you know, here we go with this. What was I going to say? It says, teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents, and the sword, punishing the wicked to destruction, right? Teeth of wild beasts, man. If there are animals that may have survived through this flood, you know, they are hungry and all they see is people to eat as meat, man. You know, we got alligators over there, crocodiles over there, some type of marine animals. You know, them people are getting eaten, you know. So, with that being said, all praise to Yahweh by Shem Yahushai, double honors to the elders and apostles that rule well, and salutation to the brothers that's doing the truth and sincerity. Shalom.